I was just curious, we did a QSO some months ago, almost, well, a year ago, and I just wondered if what the situation with Flint is after a year later.
Well, it's getting better, but a lot of people still don't trust the water. I mean, I don't, after all this crap. They came in here a few months back and put a new water pipe in and everything, but I still won't drink it. I'll still get bottled water to drink and make my coffee with. But yeah, they're still doing pipe replacements, so little by little, neighborhood by neighborhood.
Roger, but you would think the consensus is that local folks don't trust the water anymore?
No, definitely not. I mean, the local government here fumbled the ball, and the state and the feds did just as bad. So, I'm sure you've probably heard a lot of different stories about it, but all facts point to all three city, state, and federal arms of the government that had to do with this did not handle it properly.
Right. Has there been any further legal action in regards to the water situation? Have other folks been prosecuted for not being totally honest with the people?
Yeah, it seems to me there's about a half a dozen of them that have been charged and are been going to hearings and awaiting trial. So, yeah, but the mayor at the time and the current mayor, they're not going to be charged, and Governor Snyder's not going to be yet. They're kind of up his butt too, but he's using our tax dollars to defend himself, which a lot of people are pissed about that. But it is what it is. What can you do about it,
Roger that. And so the street repairs are going forward now. There was a situation that they had got involved in the sewer replacement, and at the that involves the streets, and then they found out that the cost overruns were unbelievably high. Did they and then work stopped there for a period of time? Did that finally resolve itself, I guess?
I don't know about that. The problem wasn't with the sewer lines, it was with the water lines. A lot of us still had ladder galvanized water lines, and you get lead buildup in the galvanized lines too, so they're replacing. If you don't already have copper, they're ripping it out and putting in copper. But sewer, they don't really had an issue with the sewer, except there's been an occasional per house issue where the sewer line and the water line will run so close together that some sewer lines have been damaged as a result of them punching a hole to put a new water line through. So there's been some scattered issues with that on a per house basis, but not citywide. It's primarily the water pipes.
Roger. Yeah, I misspoke. Usually, like in that road situation, they put the sewer line on one side and the water line on the other side of the street. And then when they tear up the street, it's a mess. And so the water line, of course, obviously is the major problem with the Flint area there, and the contamination of the actual problem is the lining of the water lines were leaching lead into the water. Roger.
Yeah, but that's a lot of cities all over the entire country. It can happen anywhere if they screw up on how they treat the water and don't do it right, and they could have this problem anywhere. And you gotta remember, back when a lot of these cities had this infrastructure put in, They used a lot of lead. They didn't really know the dangers of lead back then.
Oh, roger that. And yeah, even in Louisville, where I live next to, they will, from time to time, have major problems with water lines blowing up, and some of those water lines are maybe 50 years old or 70 years old, so everything has a life expectancy. So I guess just the, outside of the maybe the lead problem, which obviously is the most severe, a lot of that infrastructure as far as water pipes for the city is 70 years old, some?
Oh, some neighborhoods in Flint are older than that. I mean, I'm in one of the oldest neighborhoods in Flint. I was able to dig around online and find the original plat for this neighborhood by Thread Lake where I'm at, and it was signed in 1912, and a lot of homes started going in around 1920. I mean, the home I'm in is pushing 100 years old.
Roger that. Well, there is the expression, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But then you have the problem of, having maypops all over the town ready to blow up because of lack of maintenance, I guess you would call it. So even though some of the facilities may be operating correctly, the age would dictate good maintenance might help out a great deal. Roger.
Millions and millions and millions of dollars, and that's the a lot of these politicians don't want to spend it. That's the bottom line. They want to keep more money in their pocket one way or another, and that's another problem with Flint. They never really weaned themselves off the General Motors teat, so to speak. It's been so long. They should have had the foresight to push towards bringing other types of jobs and whatnot to town. I mean, because really, I think, there's the GM still here, but it's just truck and bus and metal fab and stuff like that in one spot over here by 75 and Bristol Road, and all the rest of it's gone. All the Chevy in the whole downtown's gone. All the big monstrous Buick City complex that used to be up to the north, that's all gone. If it weren't for a U of M Flint campus here, I think the city probably would be pretty well dead by now.
Roger that. Well, since we last spoke over a year ago, have you seen much flight of folks leaving the city because of the water situation between when we spoke last?
Oh yeah, there's been some, and there's been a lot of people who would like to, but can't afford to. So that's the other end of it.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, an invested situation there, and when I guess housing prices drop because of problems like FLINTS endured, they would be losing a bunch of their investment if they chose to leave because they couldn't get the price that a fair price. Roger.
So that was going on before the water problem, in some of the bad neighborhoods. That was happening before the water problem hit.
Roger. Well, it's just curious how things are going up there. It's been, like I say, a year since we last spoke, and hopefully I would been hopeful that somebody would have one of those master plans, that would resolve the issue and everybody would live happily ever after.